Cooking like a pro is so easy with Pro Seasoning. This is my company. I started it from the ground up. It's called Pro Seasoning. My all-purpose spice is made with Himalayan pink salt. There are no anti-caking agents other than ground up rice. It's all natural. It's made with really high quality ingredients and it's small batch. My steak seasoning is called Pro Seasoning Steak. It's made with porcini mushroom. It has chunks of Himalayan pink salt, cracked black pepper, shallots, porcini mushroom. It is my opus to a great steak. Pro Seasoning Barbecue is made with coffee. It's got a little bit of cinnamon in it. It's got sea salt. There is nothing like it on the market. I can guarantee you that. I also have gochugaru flakes. I have really cool stuff like vinegar powder. Check out my website, chefnikki.net, and order today.
Do you want to talk about food? I want to talk about food. Let's talk about food. What else are we going to do? We got nothing else to do. Let's go.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Nikki Talks Food. I'm your host, Nikki Patinio. This is my podcast. Okay, so today is episode 7 of season 1. So we made it to 7 episodes. Let me know how you're enjoying the podcast. If you're loving stuff, you're loving some of the segments. I've been playing games with people. I've been having some good guests. So, let me know what you're thinking. The topic of today's episode is career juxtaposition. So in my career, I've had kind of a wide swing of experiences. I'm going to tell some stories from a couple different jobs that I had. So one, I was a teacher. I taught culinary arts at a prison for 2 years. I clocked into an actual prison 5 days a week. We had a culinary lab. It was a really nice lab, great kitchen to work in, but I taught inmates. And so we're going to talk. I got one story I'm going to tell you guys. It's funny. But then when you juxtapose that with another job I had years ago, and I was the sous chef aboard a 240-foot super yacht. So I have another story there. So that's the topic of the podcast today. Also going to do a little catch-up sesh and what I'm here for and some food safety. So buckle in. Okay, so here's what I've been up to lately. I just came back from California last week. I was out there with my wife. She had a conference, so I just kind of tagged along, and it was awesome. We were in Southern California. If you guys listened to my last podcast, I had my best friend Jamie on. She lives in LA, so that was like a blast. We talked about some food, so we actually reviewed our experience in Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios in California. So check that out. If you haven't heard that episode, give that a listen. It's episode 6. So if you're planning on going to Super Mario World, what is it called? Super Nintendo World. If you're planning on going to Super Nintendo World, check that one out. It's a pretty good review, I think. So, I'm just like feeling the fall vibes here. So I've been really planning for this dinner that I'm going to do with Brown's Kitchen. We're doing a Beetlejuice themed dinner. We still got some spots open. So if you guys are in the Tallahassee area, go to brownskitchen.com and book today, because it's gonna fill up. But I'm making these. I'm gonna make a video on this too for you guys. So check out my Instagram at Chef Nikki. Check out on my YouTube channel, Nikki Talks Food. I'm definitely gonna post some videos very, very soon. I have a video coming out tomorrow, which is what's today, the 23rd. So Tuesday the 24th, I'm dropping a video on how to butcher filet mignon from filet tenderloin. So check that out. But anyway, I'm going to make these. Okay, I got to talk to you guys about this. I'm going to talk right into your ear hole about this. In the first Beetlejuice, when Beetlejuice is trying to force Lydia to marry him, he takes a finger out of his pocket and takes the wedding ring off, throws the finger away, and says, "She meant nothing to me." So I'm going to make I'm going to make chocolate fingers. I think what I'm going to do is kind of like paint the inside with like a greenish white chocolate. I'll tint the chocolate with some green, some luster powder. I'll put a layer down so it looks dusty, Then I'll do some chocolate, maybe some milk chocolate or some semi-sweet chocolate, and then I'll fill that with some pretzels or something. I was thinking about maybe putting little like skinny pretzels in like bones. And then when you bite into it, you're like, oh, there's the bone. I might do that, or I might just kind of crunch them up and make some texture. I don't know. But I'll make a video on that. These are cool. I can make 15 fingies at a time. So I'm excited I love working with chocolate. It's she's kind of a drama queen, but it's fun stuff. So I just enjoy kind of like customizing when I do an event or something. I like to customize if I have the time, because I can make chocolates and put them in the freezer until I'm ready. Although they're labor intensive, I'm going to do it anyway because I enjoy seeing the looks on everyone's cute little face when they see something silly like that. So I'm making chocolate fingers for my Beetlejuice dinner. So check that out. If you go on brownskitchen.com, you can book your seat. We have 25 seats. I'm not sure how many are left, but I know that there's a couple left, but they're going to go. So get on it. What else am I up to? I am feeling like I said, I'm feeling the fall vibes. I went to, what is it called? Home Goods yesterday. First of all, it was cram jam packed. And I just wanted to like refresh around the house, my fall decor because it's really, really old and it's kind of hodgepodge mixed together. So kind of went with more of a black and white theme. I guess I don't know. I might be like really just feeling like the Beetlejuice thing way too much, but I'm also kind of a black and white person, like I wear a lot of black. I'm a winter tone. So, I mean, my label for my pro seasoning, that's black and white, has a little bit of red is always my accent color. So it's usually, I'm like a black, white, red person, like color scheme. Throw a little copper in there and I'm happy. So anyway, I got some really cute like glass. I'm just like really into these glass pumpkins. And so they're black and white stripes. I got some Harlequin pattern ones, which I freaking love Harlequin pattern. That like really blows my skirt up way high. So I'm like freaking cleaning them out and put up all my fall decorations. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll probably put some pictures up. I got the cutest candy corn haunted house that lights up. I mean, whatever. I don't know what it is. I usually don't super duper decorate. That's why everything is like very hodgepodge put together. It's like leftover stuff from when my wife was a kid, when I was a kid, and it's just like whatever's thrown into this Tupperware bin. But now I kind of, updated it a little bit to make it a little bit more classy. I got some really cool like shiny skull candles with crowns. I'm very into like the royal dead thing. I don't know. I just love that. So put those around. I made the guest bathroom kind of like potion-y, like little potion vibe, some potion books. So anyway, that's I've been nesting big time. I think the reason why is because I took a lot of time off, like 6 weeks, so that apart from making videos, the YouTube videos, and apart from editing video, I'm not doing like heavy lifting as far as I didn't book any events for 6 weeks. I didn't book any classes to teach for 6 weeks. Because I had surgery. So, and I'm doing good. I'm feeling pretty good. I don't think I should be doing push-ups right now. And so, I'm trying to still kind of not get into super heavy lifting, but next week, well, maybe I have a class on Thursday at the prepared table. I'm not sure we're going to have it because we're getting a hurricane. So in the fall in Florida, that's when the tropics are like super active. You have a little bit of a change in weather. The Gulf is still super warm, and that like gives fuel to, this is your science. Really, I don't know. I'm not a weather person. Don't listen to me, but I'm going to tell you what I think I know. And what I think I know, in fact, I'm so not a weather person. I used to think that when they said feeder bands, I used to think they were called Peter bands. So, such a goober. But anyway, the Gulf is warm. She's going to fuel this hurricane, and it looks like it's headed right for Tallahassee. So everybody think good thoughts. I shouldn't be telling you this, guys, but I sleep with a CPAP. I mean, maybe it is okay to talk about because it's kind of like spreading awareness that, you need to be able to breathe. And some people are just, they just care about how it looks or whatever. But let me tell you, being able to breathe is the best. It is the best. I get the best sleep. I didn't have a problem breathing in. I had a problem breathing out. And so I would literally burp myself awake because air could not get out of my nose because I don't know, it just closes up. That's what sleep apnea is. Anyway, so I couldn't breathe out, so the air had to go somewhere, so it'd go in my stomach, and then I'd like wake up and like let out this huge burp. And so I was like, this is a problem. So I did a sleep study, and turns out I wasn't breathing well. So anyway, I've been sleeping with the CPAP, so I just got us a battery backup for that, so that so hopefully we don't have to worry about that. But anyway, that's what's happening. We're getting a hurricane. I love fall. I got to make sure there's gas in the generator. This is like typical Florida behavior. I'm working on new flavors for pro seasoning. I've been working on like 3 different flavors. One is a dry marinade. The other one is a tropical heat, which is habanero, and tropical flavors like tropical flavors like pineapple and citrus. And then the other one is a stir fry seasoning that's like one and done. But I care tremendously about food safety, and I don't think that I would be able to produce and sell and do all the things that I do seasoning without a co-packer. So I have a co-packer. They pack my spice for me. They manufacture it for me. They label it and all that kind of stuff. These are my flavors. It's just they sign a non-disclose. They're not allowed to share my flip. Who knows if they're doing it? You'll probably see some knockoffs soon. Who knows? But at any rate, that's the way I run my business. And so when you have a co-packer, you're kind of like bound by their willingness to get ingredients in. My co-packer is very concerned with food safety, which is important to me. It's very, very important to me. I want to make sure that you guys get the cleanest, yummiest product, and you don't have to worry about one thing. I'm not blending this stuff in my kitchen, smoking a cigarette. Not that I smoke, but smoking a cigarette over being like, let's stir up another batch. There's no cat. I don't have a cat, but if there's no cat hair or dog hair, I have like my co-packer, and that's common for people to have a co-packer, like barbecue sauce. People that make sell barbecue sauce, and it's your recipe. You just have somebody that they are federally and state inspected. They can do recalls if they have to. They vet out the ingredients. It's not, in my opinion, it's very hard to do when you are a one-man show, or if you're a very small business. It's just better to do it that way. So, in my opinion. So, at any rate, I've had some hangups with ingredients. We're working it out though, and I'll get them out. I have been working on my schedule to make sure that I'm able to do all the things I do. I mean, I have a podcast, I have a YouTube channel, I also have TikTok, I got the Spice Company, I cater private dinners, I teach cooking lessons at different kitchen stores around town, I teach virtual cooking lessons, I make tons and tons of content, and I teach private lessons for 1 to up to 8 people in home. So that is some heavy lifting that I do. So I've been trying to work on my schedule and just kind of like live by the schedule. And this is the first day. This is the first day. I've kind of messed up in that I didn't set my alarm today. So I already kind of started on the back foot. But tomorrow is a new day. And I'm going at it like this. This guy, I really love this guy. I love this guy. His name is Dan Harris. He wrote a couple books. One book is called 10% Happier, and another book is called Meditation for the Fidgety Skeptics. I read both of those books, and he takes a lot of what he talks about from Buddhism. And in Buddhism, one of the things that you do in meditation is if you have a fidgety mind, you begin again. So I'm just trying to live by that. When I mess up, try not to mentally flog myself and try not to mentally, go off the deep end. And, if I'm not meeting the goals that I set, just begin again. Then tomorrow's another day. I can always begin again. So I'm going to make sure that my alarm is set tomorrow, and I'm going to begin again. And that's what I'm going to do. So if you like that kind of, woo-woo stuff, I really recommend this guy, Dan Harris. He started he has a podcast called 10% Happier. It's really great. He has really great guests on there. He's really amazing when, his books are great. 10% Happier, it was very life-changing for me. And I kind of vibe with him because he seems like a dork. Like he's got a very dork. He's an anchor on ABC. And the reason why he went in this direction of meditation is that he had a panic attack live on the air. And so he went at his discovery of how to deal with this within himself. He went at it as a journalist. So he went through religion and then finally he settled on the thing that I want to do is meditation. So he really works at that every day. And he's kind of my idol as far as that's concerned. And not that I meditate every day. I don't do nearly as much as I should. But again, I'm trying not to mentally flog myself and say, begin again. But anyway, if you're looking for, I don't know, that kind of logic, give him a follow. Dan Harris, 10% happier. Not that I'm a perfect person, because I'm far from it, but I work at myself. I try so hard to just be introspective, see where I can do better. And he's been a big part of that. So I don't know, if you're interested, check him out. I'm totally here for, and I haven't tried these guys yet, but I watch their content, and there is a food truck that started here in town. It's called, in Tallahassee, it's called Trap Boy Ramen. And I'm dying to try them. I went on vacation. I went haywire with my diet. I have to get back to eating healthier. Another thing I'll share with you guys is I'm diabetic. However, I don't take any diabetes medicine because I control my diabetes with diet and exercise. So I don't eat carbs. I don't eat sugar. So boring. But I do feel better when I eat that way. And I just want to continue to not make myself sicker. So that's just the way that you do whatever works for you. But that works for me. So at any rate, that's my excuse for not having tried Trap Boy Ramen. But my next cheat day is going to be there. I want you guys to listen to what is on these freaking guys' menu. Okay, so I'm gonna read some of so they have ramen. Obviously, it's like a big cup of noodles. They do birria beef ramen noodles, quesadilla cheese, cilantro, onion, and consomme. And it's like such a hip hop vibe. Their content is very cool. They do oxtail ramen. I love oxtail. If you're not in the oxtail community, you got to get on it. First of all, these cuts, oxtail, trotters, the cuts of meat that, people used to throw away. Those are full of collagen. Oxtails are full of collagen. It's great for your skin, great for your joints. I'm not a doctor. You probably shouldn't be listening to me, but anyway, that's what I say. They have a Trap Boy Ramen wing boil. Oh my God. And it looks seasoned. Everything looks so seasoned. They have seafood ramen, snow crab ramen, shrimp and snow crab mix, shrimp ramen. I mean, it just looks freaking amazing. I mean, you can get a side of consomme. They have trap rice. Let's see what else. Birria sandwich, birria beef, Texas toast. Texas toast, that's a flex. Quesadilla cheese, onions, cilantro, consomme. So you can dip it. I mean, it just looks so flavorful. It looks so unctuous. It looks so, oh God, I want to go there so bad. So big shout out to them. I'm going to make it there at some point. They have birria egg rolls. They have seafood boil egg rolls. They do have tacos, birria tacos, oxtail tacos. Like, oh my God, these guys are insane. Loaded nachos. I mean, it's just, I'm going to go there, but give them a follow on Instagram. I don't know if they're on TikTok. I tried to look for them. I couldn't really figure anything out, but it's Trap Boy Ramen, TrapBoyRamen on Instagram. Check them out. They are I'm very inspired by them. Like, I'm like, look at these guys, it's very male. It's very like dude food, where it's like no regard for health. It's like when you get a bunch of boys together and like, oh, okay, we need a big snack. Like this looks like hella good. It looks hella good. It is. Like, I think I saw some oxtail pizza. I would destroy that. Oh my God, I would freaking. If somebody came at me with some oxtail pizza, forget it. That's it. That's a marry me meal right there. Come on. So check them out. I'm here for them. One day, I'm going to get there one day, and I will post about it. We'll talk about it. I'll review it. But in the meantime, give them a follow, because they look like they're doing the work. They're putting the work in. And so I'm happy for them, and I'm proud of them. So Trap Boy Ramen. All right. I'm totally over. All right. I'm going to go on a little rant here. I'm going to have a sip of my sody. Waterloo, lemon lime, my favorite. Probably going to get burpy. That's okay. Okay. I'm totally over.
That's ridiculous.
I don't want to sound like a Karen. But, I had dinner out recently at a restaurant, and I'm just over the lack of attention to detail when it comes to anticipating guests' needs. I'm going to use this example, and I hope this restaurant doesn't get mad at me. I'm not going to say their name, but I had these beautiful, crispy tofu lettuce wraps. Crispy tofu lettuce wraps. All the yumminess. I love tofu. I mean, sue me. I don't care. I vacillate from, I go from, pig trotters to tofu. This is fine, man. That's me, man. Right on. I love it all. I love food. I love talk. That's how we got here. I love talking about food. So at any rate, let me keep it healthy. So I ordered these tofu lettuce wraps. They were delicious. They were perfect. I would eat them 4 days a week. So good. But when I was done, I'm like, my hands are sticky. And I have a sensory thing where I do not like dirty hands. I wash my hands a zillion times a day. And in the wintertime, it gets really bad because my hands crack and all this stuff. And I got to lube them up with moisturizer that I make because I'm allergic to everything. So I do have a video on how to make your own moisturizer if you're into that. But at any rate, what was I talking about? I don't like my hands dirty. Okay. I worked at a steakhouse for 8.5 years. And on the menu there was ribs. They were pretty much knife and fork ribs because they fall apart. But some people like to pick them up and eat them. That's fine. We always anticipated the guest's need. And I learned a lot by working at this restaurant. I say I cut my teeth at that restaurant. I worked there from my early 20s until my late 20s. I mean, it was a big chunk. It was all of my 20s, pretty much. It was like 80% of my 20s I worked at this restaurant. Okay. We used to call it Hotel California. You could check out, but you could never leave because it was such a good gig. Like, it was the server Marines, pretty much. The competition's very tough in South Florida. And if you showed up to work and your uniform was wrinkled, they always had 2 extra servers. And I did it. I mean, I did my externship there for culinary, served there, I bartended there, in 8.5 years, you end up doing a lot of stuff. So first of all, what was really cool was they ranked the servers. In and of itself, made competition within the servers. So then they strive to do better. That was one thing they did. Then they also would give you your schedule, and you get the better tables and the better shifts if your ranking was high. So if you were a high ranked server, and this is like, the managers would evaluate, and I'm not saying that everybody needs to do this. This is how they did it. They created competition within the servers, and the servers strive to do better. Okay. So that's good business. That affects the business. The business makes money. The servers make money. The guests are happy. Boom. Bob's your uncle. So what we did there when somebody ordered ribs was that, I was saying that if your uniform was wrinkled, there was always 2 extra servers scheduled, and they would send you home. They'd be like, go home. If you don't have your bank, it was, at the time, it was like 2 5s, 8 1s, and $2 in assorted change. You didn't have that, and the backup server had it, you go home. If somebody was a hungover mess, they go home, which happened all the time. So it ended up, being good for everyone pretty much. But one of the things that I learned there was to anticipate guest needs, and that when somebody ordered ribs, what we would do is we would take a linen, like a napkin, a linen napkin, and we'd fold it in thirds and then fold it in half and then roll it up into like a little rolly little towel. Then put it on a B&B plate, appetizer size plate, B&B plate, this little guy, little, whatever, 4-inch plate. Take it over the coffee machine, put hot water onto that linen, right? Saturate it with the hot water and put a little lemon on top. And then if you ordered ribs, we brought that to you. Because then when you're done eating, you can take that linen, and it's not like a tacky wet wipe. It's nice. And you wipe your hands on there and you put it back on the plate. The server comes and takes it away. So I had these tofu lettuce wraps, and it was good. It was yummy. So yummy. I'm not dragging them for the lack of yumminess, lack of atmosphere, nothing. Everything was perfect. My only critique was that now I'm sitting there with sticky hands. So I asked the server, can you grab me, can you take I showed him, can you take one of these linens and just go to the coffee machine and pour warm water on it and bring it back to me. This kid had to bring the manager over. The manager comes over and he looks at me and he goes, "We heard you want a linen with we want you want us to wet it?" And I was like, "Yes. I have sticky hands. This is finger food. I need to wipe my hands." You know? And I was like, how can this be the first time that this place has been open forever? How can this be the first time anyone's ever thought about this here? You know? Is it assumed that once I'm done with my sticky finger food that I should get up and take my butt to the bathroom and wash my hands? What if I'm enthralled in conversation? I shouldn't be taken out of my dining experience and have to work to go to the bathroom, wash my hands for lack of detail of attention or attention to detail. Is that bitchy? I don't know. I just feel like everything's expensive right now. To go out to eat is expensive. To leave my house is expensive. You know? Give me a win here. Give me a win. Like, I'm so tired of restaurants acting like they're doing me a favor. Get it together. Get it together. Think about your guests' needs. What do they need? If you're serving them sticky finger food, give them a friggin' warm towel. It costs nothing. I mean, you got loads of linen. You maybe sell 5-10 orders of this thing a night, maybe 20. Whatever. So 20 linen. That's not even a full. That's not even. That's like the linens come in bundles of 100. You know, but now you have happy guests. Imagine the impact that would have if you think about, if you go, you know what, let me make sure that this person doesn't have to leave their dining experience or conversation with people they're trying to catch up with or whatever, so that they can wash their hands, because I got my head so far up my ass I can't even think to anticipate that need. What do you think? Is that wrong? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I have one more thing that I just need to drag. I got to get it out now while I'm bitching about this. But you guys know I live in Florida. Some of you guys that follow me or listen to podcasts, you also live in Florida. And some of you live in the South. You know, some of you don't, whatever. At any rate, I was even in Southern California. It's 105 degrees. So it's hot everywhere in the summertime, right? I have been out to eat a lot lately. And one thing that I have noticed is that I need my stress bear. One thing that I have noticed is that another facet of anticipating guest needs is just their general cleanliness on the table. And here's why. Here's why heat ties into that. Your drink, I get whatever. You guys know I don't drink, right? So I get my Diet Coke, a lot of ice. That's my treat. I get Diet Coke. Oh my God. That's Nikki's treat. Diet Coke, ice, right? The sucker starts sweating the moment you take it out of the kitchen, right? So meaning condensation is coming off the glass. This is a dirty glass right now because I got my stupid fingerprints all over it. But condensation is dripping off. And for whatever reason, restaurants have just decided that we're under a moratorium for use of beverage napkins. And I get it. The cost might, chasing up the paper cost it sucks. I mean, don't let the servers throw them all over the place as far as with waste and all that. But it is generally expected that when something has condensation, there should be something that was designed. It's called a serviette. It's also called a bar napkin. It's also called, or not a bar napkin. It's also called a beverage napkin, right? That's placed under the glass. And when that's saturated, you wipe it up and you put another one. I mean, it's just small little details like that. I don't want to wallow. I don't want my elbows, and I know my elbows shouldn't be on the table anyway, but I don't want to wallow in moisture when I'm going out to eat. That's another thing that draws me away from the experience. And now I'm a sensory person. I cannot stand having moisture from the table onto my elbows, onto my hands, onto my arms. I just don't like it. It takes me out of the experience. Okay? So for the love of God, be I'm not even saying be generous. I'm just saying be kind with beverage napkins. Put them in your little server pouch. When you're talking to the guests, or when they're I didn't even spend a lot of time talking to guests when I was a server. They're not there to talk to me. They're there to talk to one another. But if I see a saturated, soiled beverage napkin, you better bet your ass I'm going to take the old one. I'm going to wipe up what's there, and I'm going to put a new one and put your drink right back on there without you even noticing. That's service. That's anticipating guest needs. That will get you more customers through the door. And that's what you want, right? Because whether you know it or not, people already kind of do the math in their mind what their comfort level was. And their lizard brain is saying, I have a limited amount of resources. Where am I going to spend this money that I worked so hard for? Where am I going to spend it? And their lizard brain might already do the math and say, we're not going back there. It's not even the frontal lobe that's making the decision. The lizard brain's going, I don't want to spend my money there. Last time I went there, my elbows were knee deep in moisture, and I just don't need that kind of drama tonight. And they go somewhere else. Do you want to lose customers over beverage napkins? I don't know. Is it worth it? I'm just asking questions. I'm totally over that. Like, do better. Turn your brains back on, guys. Turn your brains on. It's got to happen. You guys got to get better. You're not doing anyone a favor. Even if you're a Michelin star restaurant, and guess what? A Michelin star restaurant is going to make you feel like the guests feel like they're the most important person in the world. That's how they get that star. People, servers, managers, hostesses, hosts, acting like they're doing the guest a big favor, being rude when you walk in and, they're busy and they're like, do you have a reservation? Like, come on, be kind. Listen, we don't have anything right now. If you want to wait 45 minutes, we would love to have you. Otherwise, a better time would be to come between 4 and 6 next Friday night. I can guarantee I get you a table then. You can't seat them. Don't be rude to them so they never come back. Be nice. Is it that hard? Just asking questions. I'm not trying to be a bitch. But this is what people pay me for, though. I do restaurant consulting. That's another thing I do. You can book me on my website, chefnikki.net. I do consulting. It's not that much money. I'll come in. I'll tell you. I'll write you a full report. I'll tell you what's going on. I'll tell you how to fix it. And even if we can move the needle just a little bit, get you made more money, I'll help you do it. So that's what I'm over. Okay, let's talk. Look, I have 2 stories. And you know what? This podcast is just me ranting and raving, but I don't know. Do you guys like it? Stay tuned. Okay. All right. I'm just going to tell my stories. Okay. Picture this. I taught culinary at a prison for 2 years. I clocked into a prison. I told you. I mean, I didn't really physically clock in anywhere, but I, walked in there, had to do the whole thing. Had all my stuff searched every day. That's just I couldn't have my phone, no phones. So it was interesting. I could have 20 students. I did 2 sessions a day, 3-hour sessions. And I'd have about 20 students in the class. Oh, man. Yeah. So, I tried to classically train them. That was my goal. And we did, I'm very proud of the work I did there. I still have, former students contacting me, and let me know how they're doing. I always encourage them, make sure they're going to meetings and all that kind of stuff. And it's good. It's really good. So anyway, while I was there, teaching. So working in a prison is like walking into a social psychology experiment, only it's real. So nobody has a phone except for some of the officers, the lieutenants, since they have phones, but the teachers, the inmates, obviously nobody has a phone. I mean, we have a landline, but you don't have a cell phone, which it's weird right now because it's almost like a part of my body, that cell phone, right? So anyway, it stayed in my truck while I went to work. So people do, as they say, like click up, I mean, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the inmates. The inmates, they clicked up, people were obviously they divided themselves into ethnic groups, which that's just how the social psychology went, I guess. I don't know. I didn't have much experience with that beforehand. But my point is that we had like I had them as students. I mean, they would have tattoos. They would be drawing on the table. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to even say the word on YouTube. I might need to bleep it out or something, or I'm not sure. But so they're all in the same gang. Lots of gangs. We had, it was lots of gangs in prison. They would have tattoos that you could distinguish that they were white supremacists. At any rate, sometimes we'd have to double up a student because they were approaching their release date. So we would let them go to the AM session and the PM session, and we just double them up, and we put them on kind of like an independent study so that they would reach the end of the curriculum faster. And this one guy who was obviously had all the markings. So when you graduate the program, you get a cake. We would make a cake. So I said, okay, what kind of cake you want? He goes, carrot cake. I go, okay. So we didn't have, getting ingredients into the actual institution was so difficult for spending purposes. For getting a truck on the compound was difficult. It was just so many tiny flaming hoops to jump through. Even when the trucks would come, if I got a truck with food on it, and I'm in a business of perishables, so it was hard. I had to do it all myself because my students are obviously flight risks. It was like it would be raining on me. It would be 100 degrees. It was just like it was difficult. At any rate, I don't have any ingredients for this carrot cake for this guy, and everybody gets one. And I didn't treat anybody differently. It, like I said, it is kind of like a social experiment. I had all kinds of gang members. I had students that were significant offenders, and I treated them all the same because I'm not the judge, I'm not the jury, I'm not the victim. All I'm there to do is teach them all I was there to do was teach them skill so that they can be gainfully employed. And I knew my job. I knew it then, and I know it now. And I'm very proud of the way that I handled myself at that point. I mean, it is a very difficult environment to be in. So my temper did pop off a few times, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. It did happen. But I'll tell you what, it ain't easy working in a prison, especially when I'm by myself. I'm 5 foot tall. They gave me the keys. Okay. So at any rate, this guy wants a carrot cake. So it's in the middle of the summertime. I had already had a difficult day. I went to Publix. I use my card that I have for purchases. I go and I buy the freaking carrot cake stuff. And I called my wife on the way home, and I'm like pissed. I'm just miserable and I'm pissed. And I said to her, and now I'm schlepping carrot cake ingredients for a supremacist. So that's something I had to do. It's something I did in my career. It's wild. It's wild. The stuff that I have to tell you guys is just wild. So that happened. And then when you juxtapose that with my experience working on a private yacht, and it's a different kind of schlepping ingredients. There, when I had first joined the boat, I was first hired on the boat. I had never, I'd been cooking many years, but I had no experience as a yacht chef. Yes, I do get seasick. I get violently seasick, in fact. But after 3 days, my experience is that the seasickness goes away. So all the other crew members, they're like 6 foot blondes. They're like right out of the pages of Vogue magazine. And then there's me, 5 foot little daddy me, with my short hair. But I can cook. So, I was allowed to be there. It was okay. Anyway, we were in Saint-Tropez, and I was tasked by the head chef. It was just me and him. It was 2 of us. He said, go. You want to go? He was trying to help me out. He's like, you want to go ashore? Because we weren't going to touch the crew was not going to touch Saint-Tropez. He was like, want to go ashore? Go ashore. Take some grocery bags, get some bits and bobs, and come back. And I was like, cool. And of course, I bought too much stuff, and I was trying to schlep bits and bobs for a billionaire and get it on his private yacht, a 240-foot Fed ship, a big, big boat with 17 crew and 12 guests. and that's called juxtaposition. That's what that's called. I was late to the boat. The boss was pissed. The billionaire boss was pissed. I got in trubby trubs. They were upsetty spaghetti. I got in trubs. It was just more of like a finger wag. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, take away my birthday? That was something that we said on the boat. What are you gonna do? You gonna take away my birthday? Like, what do you want me to do? Swim home? Like, trying the best here. So, anyway, schlepping ingredients for a pharmacist, schlepping ingredients for a billionaire. It's called juxtaposition. I'm not even sure what I'm gonna have to bleep out to let you know about my stuff in the prison. I'm not sure, but if you got to read between the lines, read it. I think that's it. I was gonna do some food safety stuff. I don't know. Cook your chicken to 165 degrees. If it's on a bone, cook it to 185 degrees. Get a good thermometer. I really like the ThermalWorks brand. It is the #1 rated for accuracy from Cooks Illustrated, and I think America's Test Kitchen. It's expensive. They don't sponsor me, but that's what I use. I use that. So you're coming here for pro tips. Well, that's a pro tip. Okay? Stop overcooking your chicken. It's done when it's done. This way you can be sure if you undercook it, cook it at 165, 185 if it's on a bone. Make sure you wash your produce. Wash your produce, guys. Melons carry salmonella on the outside. Wash them. We're almost out of melon season anyway, so we'll just wash them with water. What else? You don't need to wash your chicken or your meat with water. That spreads bacteria. Just go ahead and pat it dry with a paper towel. That'll help you have a nice browning on your beef, your chicken, shrimp, whatever. Pat it dry. What I do is I roll out paper towel. I roll out aluminum foil. Then I put paper towel on top, and then I dry my protein. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be chicken, shrimp, frickin' steak. Then I season it. I put it into a preheated cast iron skillet, and then I have a nice, beautiful crust. And that's it. Thanks for listening, guys. If you like my show, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if you like the podcast, what you want to talk about, what you want me to talk about. Don't forget you can email me as well, nikkitalksfood@gmail.com. And let me know your questions. Let me know if there's a topic you think would be great to talk about. And I will do it. Thanks.
I want to talk about food.
Leave me a
Let's
review.
talk about food.
5 stars.
What
You
else
can
are
find
we
me on
gonna
Spotify,
do? We got nothing
YouTube,
else to do. Let's go.
and Apple. And I guess at some point I'll do Amazon too, but I haven't figured it out yet. All right. Bye, guys.